I'm Rick Howard, president of Kingdom Magic Vacations. In my job, I get to travel a lot. I explore the world on land and sea, eating in unique restaurants and discovering interesting locations. I'm always looking for new places to visit, and I want you to travel with me. Welcome to Travel with Rick. Hey guys, we're about to take a really cool tour aboard this boat. It's going to be really cool. We're going to do a Viking splash tour through the city of Dublin. We're going to show you all around. And this thing is actually going to take a dip in the water. Yeah, we're not. We're going to be on this. We're going to take you around. You're going to see some really cool sights around Dublin. You'll see Molly Malone, the hardest working girl in all of Dublin. And of course, we'll find some really cool local spots like where U2 made a few of their albums. Maybe we'll see Bono's apartment and some places where Van Morrison and Metallica recorded some stuff here in Dublin. It's a multicultural city with lots of music stuff and lots of cool sights. We're going to show it all to you. Come on, let's get ready to get on this boat and see our way around Dublin.
So give us a little practice roar, boys and girls. 1, 2, 3! Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So we're going to head up Dame Street. On the right hand side, this building has no windows. It was the first purpose-built dual chamber parliament. They voted themselves out of power back in 1800 and moved the power back to Westminster in London and sold that building to the Bank of Ireland, and it's in 1803, and it's still the Bank of Ireland today. The Bank of Ireland on College Green, boys and girls. Henry Grattan sat at the first parliament there. And there were two rooms underneath the one roof, the House of Lords and the House of Commons, and back in those days that was quite unique. Today they're used for corporate events, book launches and all that kind of thing. And when it's open during the week, you can go in there anytime you like and have a look at them. 1, 2, 3! On the right there, boys and girls, is the Wax Museum. On the left hand side, St. Andrew's Church. That's the home of Dublin Tourist Office and has been since 1995. Back in Viking days, they had a big board there. That building is supported from the top down by the steel columns on the outside and nicknamed by the locals as the Hanging Bank because of the way it's built. Halfway up this street on the right hand side, there's a little church called Whitefriars Church. That's George's Street, Whitefriars Church. And in it lie the bones of St. Valentine. They were received by the nuns. They were given to them as a gift from a priest called Father Spratt. He was an Irish priest and he worked on the missions. He was friendly with the Pope. He received the bones of St. Valentine from the Pope as a gift. So that's how they ended up there. This area here, the road takes a little dip. It's like a saucer. The reason for this is the River Poddle created a black pool here. The Irish for black pool is Dublin. This is where we get the name Dublin from. And this is the state entrance to Dublin Castle on the left hand side, boys and girls. The statue with her back to us is the statue of Lady Justice. She's carrying scales, a symbol of justice, a double-edged sword, a symbol of justice. However, she's not blindfolded. As we know, justice is blind, and we think she should be blindfolded. Now, we see lovely cows here on the right hand side, boys and girls. Oh, stop. Are you ready to go for 1, 2, 3? Street where Molly Malone sold her cockles and mussels. We'll show you Molly Malone later on. 1, 2, 3! So, Fishamble Street, one of the oldest little streets in Dublin. And Molly sold cockles and mussels down there. That's where she was down there. That was a fish market. The word shambles is another word for market. Handel performed his first Messiah down there. And Henry Grattan was born down there. There's a car park on your left hand side, boys and girls. Somewhere in this neck of the woods, Jonathan Swift was born. He was the author of Gulliver's Travels. Coming up on these buildings over the doors on the left hand side, you will see scenes from his novel Gulliver's Travels. Artwork to remember Jonathan Swift. From 1713 to 1745, he was the Dean of St. Patrick's Cathedral, which is on the right hand side, boys and girls. This is the largest church in Ireland. Built back in the 12th century, called after St. Patrick. I'm going to test your knowledge on St. Patrick. What do you know about St. Patrick? He done 3 important things for Ireland. Can you tell me what they are, boys and girls?
Got rid of the snakes.
He got rid of all the snakes, yes. What else did he do? I know he wasn't Irish. He was a Welshman. He spread the the word of Christianity. The third and final thing St. Patrick done for Ireland. Everyone knows the answer to this question.
Brought beer?
I know you know.
Brought beer?
Yes, say well done. Turn the beer green on St. Patrick's Day. They gave us a day off school on the 17th of March every year. This is their only reason we remember St. Patrick. They get 300,000 visitors in there, boys and girls, every year. It's one of the top tourist attractions in Dublin. Would you know what the top tourist attraction in Dublin is? Anyone know? It's in the Phoenix Park.
What's the question? What was the question?
Top tourist attraction in Dublin.
Temple Bar?
No, they're all very good. They're well up there, but number one is Dublin Zoo, boys and girls.
No works in London.
Now in front of us, boys and girls, Christ Church Cathedral, founded in 1038 by a man called Viking Citric Silkenbeard. Anyone know why his name was Silkenbeard? Yay! He had a lovely silky beard. Excellent. There are a couple of things in there we'd like to tell you about. The heart of St. Lawrence O'Toole was in there up until 2 years ago. Unfortunately, it's no longer there because it got nicked. St. Lawrence O'Toole is the patron saint of Dublin. There's also a tomb in there belonging to Strongo and the remains of the cat and the rat, Itchy and Scratchy. I found these lads in the pipes and the organs back in the 1800s. That's the layout of two Viking homes on the right hand side, boys and girls. That side on the right is called Wood Quay. I'll tell you about Itchy and Scratchy. They found these lads in the pipes and the organs back in the 1800s and they realised that they had become mummified, so they decided to keep them and put them on display in a glass box. So they done that and they became a really popular tourist attraction. The Egyptians have the Tutankhamun, we have Itchy and Scratchy. That's the forecourt on the left hand side, boys and girls. So the site of Wood Quay was the largest Viking settlement ever found outside Scandinavia in the North Atlantic. Mostly settled on by Dane Vikings. They came up the River Liffey with their longboats, tied them to a wooden quay, hence the name Wood Quay. And they built 200 homes on that site over there. The people of Dublin realised the historical value of that site. They objected to Dublin City Council moving in there. Those objections left us in the forecourts. And the courts ruled we had 1 year to clean up the site and take whatever artefact we wanted off it, and we put that in a museum over in Kildare Street. And then Dublin City Council moved in. What else did the Vikings do for Ireland? They found Limerick, Waterford, Wexford, Cork and Dublin. They introduced red hair. And they brought money into the country for the first time. Old coins. That's the Clarence Hotel over there, boys and girls. It's owned by you too. The archway in the wall is the river Paddle flowing into the River Liffey. So they brought the old coins into the country. And basically, boys and girls, back in Viking days, the women looked after all the money in the household because they were far more responsible than the men. So they got their old coins, dipped them into beeswax and stuck them underneath their hairy armpits and at the backs of their locks of their hairs. This is where they kept all their money.
Wow.
Because there was no handbags or purses back in those days. That was pretty cool. This is the Millennium Bridge, built to celebrate the Millennium. The Halfpenny Bridge, built in 1816. We just passed the Millennium Bridge there. Built in 1816 by a man called Willie Walsh. And at the time he got permission to charge a toll of half a penny. This was the first toll bridge in Dublin. There's a little tradition. Do you see the padlocks on the bridge, boys and girls? So you come down there with your loved one, put your lock your lock on onto the bridge, throw away your key, your love is sealed forever. A little tradition with that Halfpenny Bridge.
Wow, look at that.
Now we're going to turn right over O'Connell Bridge. It's called after Daniel O'Connell.
Alright, so that's our
Daniel on the left hand side there, boys and girls.
That's where she said
He was born in Carrisabeen, County Kerry. He was a lawyer, then he became a politician and he abolished the penal laws. That's the spire behind Daniel as well. So the penal laws stated that the Irish people couldn't vote, couldn't be members of parliament, couldn't go to school and couldn't own lands. And Daniel sorted all that out for us. We'll show you where he lived in Marion Square later on. You get a lovely view of the River Liffey and the Halfpenny Bridge there. The spire of light. It's 120 metres tall, 3 metres wide at the base, 15 inches wide at the top. There are 11,650 holes at the top of the spire. It's a let the light out. And it's the highlight of Dublin. It's the highest light in Dublin, the old spire. We call it the poker near croaker, the nail in the pail, or the pole in the hole. A few nicknames for the old spire. That's a Viking marker stone, boys and girls, on the left hand side. A Viking marker stone. Celts on the left. 1, 2, 3. On the left hand side, boys and girls, Trinity College, founded in 1592 by Queen Elizabeth. She said no women were to go there because they were only distract the men from their studies. The first woman to go there was in 1904. Her name was Marion Johnson. After 2 weeks she fell in love with her teacher and didn't finish her studies. She proved the theory to be correct. Outside Trinity, you have Edmund Burke, a politician. Oliver Goldsmith did some poetry work and writing for journals and papers and magazines as well. Molly Malone is coming up on the right hand side, boys and girls, the most photographed statue in Dublin, Molly Malone. She sold cockles and mussels. And do you know her favourite song in Dublin, the first city? Have you ever heard of it? That's the one. In Dublin's fair city, where the girls are so pretty.
The Porterhouse!
My eyes on sweet Molly Malone. As she wheeled her wheelbarrow through streets broad and narrow, flying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. Alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. Now you can understand why I didn't make it on X Factor, right? Girls, 1, 2, 3! Trinity is about 44 acres in size, roughly around the same size medieval Dublin was once upon a time. In there you will find the Book of Kells. It originated on the west coast of Scotland, on the island of Iona, and the monks got invaded by Vikings. They came over here to Kells, County Meath, finished off their manuscripts. It's over 1,000 years old, the Book of Kells. In 1653, Cromwell was on his way here. A fella down in Kells, his name was Henry Jones. He said he'd take the Book of Kells up to Trinity College for safekeeping. He realised the importance of the book, and next thing he brought it up to Trinity, and it's been there ever since. This is Kildare Street, boys and girls. This is our National Library, and there you'll find a genealogy section where you can trace your Irish roots, build your family tree. Leinster House or Dáil Éireann on the left hand side. This is where all our politicians work. This is the museum where you'll find some Viking artifact from one king. Abraham Stoker, the author of Dracula, grew up there in that building there, boys and girls.
Wow.
Dracula in Irish is Dracula, it means bad blood. He got married just around the corner in a church called St. Anne's Parish Church. And the woman he married was an ex-girlfriend of Oscar Wilde. Does anyone know where he got the inspiration for the character Dracula?
Vlad the Impaler.
Apparently he got it from his mother-in-law.
Oh! You didn't make it on the X Factor?
Shelburne Hotel, boys and girls. The Shelburne Hotel. Obviously, if you're sitting beside your mother-in-law, I'm totally wrong and you agree with the mother-in-law all the time, boys and girls. You don't get any apple tart at the weekend. The Shelburne Hotel, a fantastic 5-star hotel. This here is a little Huguenot cemetery. French Huguenot cemetery. And there's a plaque on the wall there with all the names of the French Huguenots that are buried in there. And they were linen makers, weavers, tradespeople. They came over here because they were being persecuted for their religious beliefs. This is the department of Taoiseach. Taoiseach is Irish for chief, boys and girls. He's our boss. Mr. Eddington is his name. And we have the National History Museum on the left-hand side, also known as the Dead Zoo. All the animals in there are wild, exotic animals. There are about 10,000 exhibits in there. It's a fantastic little museum. Most of the museums in Dublin are free, that's one of the free ones. On the left hand side, Marion Square, an old public execution ground. On the right hand side, beautiful Georgian buildings, and as they get taller the windows get smaller in case you have the illusion of height. Over the doors there are fan lights to let more daylight in. Some of them have lanterns in them, 76 and also 69. These were the first street lights of the day, boys and girls. A servant would come down and put a candle in there that would light the street. Every fourth or fifth house had one at the time. On the pavement, little round lids, and underneath them there are rooms, cellars, and they would come along, lift up them lids and throw the coal in there and stuff like that. Number 58 is where Daniel O'Connell lived, boys and girls. Number 58, where Daniel O'Connell lived. Louise Kennedy, a famous fashion designer, boys and girls. Yeah, have you heard of Louise Kennedy? No. Famous Irish fashion designer. Famous stuff with them. This is St. Stephen's Church in front, also known as the Pepper Canister Church. And it's in this location because it completes the view from the back of Leinster House. And on our way back, we won't see that view on the way back, because we're not coming back this way. The Edge from U2, boys and girls, got married in there. That's where he got married. Now we're going to cross over the Grand Canal, boys and girls. There are two canals in Dublin. The Royal Canal is on the north side, the Grand is here on the south side. This canal is 83 miles long. There are 43 lock gates in it. And it was built by a fella called Thomas Omar, was the man who started construction back in 1756. They finished it in 1803. It took 47 years to build the Grand Canal. There's a nice little picture of the Grand Canal, boys and girls. You get people coming down taking pictures, painting that scene from the Grand Canal. You always get artists here and stuff like that, doing all that kind of work. Either side of the canal there are narrow little towpaths built this way on purpose, straight and narrow. This will keep the horse focused, keep him walking on a straight line while he towed his barge of 50 ton or so. A horse could tow 50 ton or more than 5 ton of land. It was better to have them working on the water. We have a little phrase in this country: keep yourself on the straight and narrow, keep yourself out of trouble. We got the idea for that from the little towpaths. Do you know why we don't have any gondolas on our canals, boys and girls? Like the way the Italians have. It's because the best looking guys work for Viking Splash Tours and we just can't do both jobs. That makes me feel really good. We're going to turn into Beggar's Bush. And it was okay to beg once upon a time in this country. If you got caught begging outside your parish, you were sent out here to Beggar's Bush. And this was supposed to be a really bad place to be sent back in those days. This is one of the nicest areas in Dublin today, boys and girls. It's called Dublin 4. Dublin 4. Beggar's Bush Army Barracks handed over to Michael Collins back in January 1922. The cannon came from Lord Nelson's fleet that fought at the Battle of Trafalgar. In there today you'll find the National Print Museum, the home of the Labour Courts. The Geological Survey of Ireland is also in there. Coming up on the right hand side as we go through these lights, we'll get to see the Aviva Stadium. This holds 52,500 people. We play international rugby there, international soccer there. Rihanna was there on Friday night, just gone by. Anyone here go see Rihanna? Robbie Williams was here the week before.
Oh, cool.
We get top lineups there at the Aviva, yeah. On the north side of Dublin, we've got our stadium called Crow Park, and that holds 82,500 people. It's where we play Gaelic games, Gaelic football, hurling, and all that kind of stuff. This is the peak season for that now, so it'll be packed out at the weekend. Check that over there in Croke Park when the matches are on. Take a deep breath. That's 15 minutes and you'll be fine. Nice. Nice and rough. Welcome to the Grand Canal Basin, boys and girls. The far side of those lock gates in front of us is the River Liffey. Now the tall ships came up the River Liffey and in through those lock gates there and in here they transferred all their goods onto barges and they were taken out of here by horse, brought on down along the Grand Canal. That's why this place was built to facilitate all of that. It's a 25-acre water site in hectares. I guess that's about 11 or 12 hectares. It's 22 feet deep everywhere. The bottom of it is all tile. It's like a big large outdoor swimming pool. 22 feet, 7 meters deep everywhere. And big concrete tiles at the bottom. It's supposed to keep the water in here, stop it leaking away because they always wanted to have it full. And so when the tall ships came in, there was always enough water in here for them. The canals became redundant around about the mid-1900s, 1920s or thereabouts, because trains came into the country. The trains were faster, more economical and safer to transfer the goods around the country, so that's why the canals became redundant. They kind of became overgrown then, and then they were used as dumping grounds. Waterways Ireland have come in and reopened both canals, the Royal and the Grand, and now they're both navigable from start to finish, used for recreational use. 20 years ago, developers came in here, knocked down old warehouses like those here. They built new offices, shops, apartments. What you see in front of you, boys and girls, and around you. Their goal at the time was to have about 20 or 25,000 people living around the water's edge, to create a little town down here. They might have fallen short on the numbers, but at least they had a good go at it. This building here is occupied by Facebook. The top 2 stories, European headquarters for Facebook over there on the right hand side. The first one, you can see the umbrellas up on top of it there. That's the building there for Facebook. Recording studios, very famous recording studios just there. Boyzone, Westlife, Cranberries, Coors, Van Morrison, Metallica all made some music in there with the late recording studios. So coming up on the left hand side, boys and girls, a big gust of wind you're going to get outside. Too bad. In the distance is a little bridge called the Measuring Bridge. That's the first bridge on the Grand Canal and the smallest bridge on the Grand Canal. And it would measure your barge. If you could fit underneath it, you could pass underneath every other bridge on your journey down along the Grand Canal. That's the inner basin there, that's what we call that. This part of Dublin, boys and girls, is known as Gallery Quay today. Once upon a time, it was called Misery Hill, and if you got executed in Merrion Square, they would take your body over here, leave you hanging out to dry. That would warn people off coming into the country that we didn't take any kind of messing. During famine times, this was one of the largest shanty towns in Europe. People came here with the expectation of getting on the ship, heading off for greener pastures. A lot of them would have died from hunger and disease. If you survived all of that, boys, you ended up getting on a vessel, thinking the ship would be seaworthy, and they were always overcrowded. You'd never make your K for 4-wheel drive, W for 6-wheel drive. It was built in a place called Pontiac, Michigan in the States by General Motor Works Corporation. They built 22,500 of these vessels. There are about 2,000 of them left in the world today. You can find them in Nova Scotia, Argentina, Australia, US, UK, the Philippines. We at Viking Splash Tours have 7 of these. They could take 50 soldiers onto land or carry 2.5 tons of supplies or artillery. They could work in 15-foot seas. You could inflate and deflate your tires from inside the cab. This would give you more traction going up soft sandy beaches and all that kind of thing. They were all built by women. How do we know that? Well, it's obvious. They're over 70 years old and they're still working. They're multitaskers, and we got 7 lovely mirrors up the front. These ladies were called Rosie the Riveters, and there's Rosie there. Example of a Rosie. Turn it into a boat, boys and girls, is very straightforward. Just engage the PTO. Everything else works the same on land as it would on the road. These are all new buildings on the right hand side there, boys. That's our comfort sector. It's cool. Some people say it's like a calico in a field. Sally Gap. It goes out to sea in Dublin at 75 miles an hour. Boys and girls, 1, 2, 3. Ah! Brilliant stuff.
At Kingdom Magic Vacations, we believe that life should be measured out in memories. For over 17 years, Kingdom Magic Vacations has specialized in making vacation dreams come true for families visiting Disneyland, Walt Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, and Adventures by Disney. Kingdom Magic Vacations has been honored as an authorized Disney vacation planner, and that means we are recognized by Disney as a leader in planning magical vacations to Disney destinations. Our knowledge and experience allows our travel professionals to custom tailor your Disney vacation and make them truly magical. We know that each moment you spend on vacation creates a memory that lasts a lifetime. You can start planning your magical Disney vacation by visiting kingdommagic.com today.
Well, that was a lot of fun, taking a tour around Dublin in a duck boat. Actually, that's 2 firsts for me. Taking a tour around Dublin, my first time there, and it was my first time in a duck boat too. I've seen them in Boston. I think I saw a tour with Jimmy Buffett doing one, and on his Boston concert tour, they rode around in a duck boat in a video I saw. It was pretty cool. So, pretty cool way to see the city, you know. Saw where U2 records, saw a lot of the sights. We yelled at a lot of Celts. That was pretty cool. We wore Viking helmets. I mean, come on. Riding around a city in a boat wearing a Viking helmet. Pretty sweet, right? So, we need to ask a question of the week that you guys can answer and leave a comment below. So, thinking about duck boats, thinking about cities, thinking about Boston and Dublin and, you know, all the other cities in the world that you can take a duck boat tour, and maybe some that you can't, you know it. Where would you guys like to take a duck boat tour? What city? If you could take a duck boat tour around any city, anywhere in the world, where would it be? Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you're thinking. I'd love to hear your city. Actually, I think I'd love to do one in Boston. I think that'd be pretty cool. Miami would be cool. Fort Lauderdale would be cool. Lots of canals and waterways in Lauderdale. I think that'd be pretty sweet. Kind of know my way around there, but it'd be cool to see it from the water, I think. So, yeah, duck boats, cool. Touring around the city, cool. All right. So, we ran your comments for last week's video. You guys had some really good comments, and you guys, I could tell a lot of you did Google, you know. our question of the week was who designed the costumes for Small World, because we did Small World in Disneyland Paris. That was so awesome. And yes, she was at D23 last week. Miss Alice Davis, original Imagineer, worked with Mr. Walt Disney. How cool is that? Wife of Mr. Mark Davis, who designed a lot of the attractions at Disneyland. So that was pretty sweet. But you guys had some great great answers to the questions that I know some of you looked up on Google, but hey, that's cool. David says, great video, love It's a Small World, no matter where it's at. I agree. Alice Davis designed the clothes for Small World. Mark Davis's wife. See there? Smart guy, David. Mark was a character designer at Disneyland. Yes, he was. He was an extremely brilliant character designer and Imagineer. Chris says, great video. My 5-year-old son loves that ride, and after watching that video, insists we go to DLP next year. Awesome, Chris. You're going to love it. No idea who designed the clothes. Can't wait for next week's video. Well, thanks a lot, Chris, for just being honest and not just answering what you saw in some of the other comments. That's pretty cool. Elizabeth says, love your videos and so enjoyed the Paris version of this ride. The scenery was stunning and so colorful. The answer, forget the question, the answer for... is Alice Davis. Her husband Mark designed the dolls. Exactly right, Elizabeth. Thank you. Megan says, great show. Disneyland Paris looks like it has a great It's a Small World. I know, it's awesome. Starts outside, you know, goes inside the attraction. Really cool audio animatronics, and it's got a catchy tune. I love how all the parks have their own take on this classic attraction. I can't wait to ride this attraction in Disneyland, California next week. I believe Alice Davis designed the costumes for the attraction. Looking forward to next week's show as always. Well, thanks, Megan. Thank all you guys for commenting. We ran your comments through random.org and came up with number 4, Heather. And Heather, I have this great Mater plush for you. Yeah, we've got a box full of these things. But I do have this Mater plush for you, Heather, for commenting. I'll drop you an email. Just reply to that email with your mailing address, and we'll be sure to get this out in the mail to you. Thanks, as always, to all you guys for commenting. And, you know, keep commenting. You win cool swag. Keep saying. So, Megan won, or sorry, Heather won. Number 4, Heather. Yes, Heather. Megan was our last commenter that I read. But we just wanted to remind you about our countdown clock up there. It's less than 50 days to Epcot's Food and Wine Festival. Yes, that's less than 2 months away. We're making big plans. We can't wait. We've got some cool videos for you in September to get you in the mood. We're already in the mood for Epcot's Food and Wine Festival. We got some great guests lined up. We've got celebrity chefs. We've got so much stuff going on at Epcot. Culinary demonstrations, rock and roll bands, food, wine, Epcot World Showcase. It's going to be epic. You won't want to miss it. And if you hang out right here in October, 31 days of Epcot's Food and Wine Festival, don't miss a minute of it. It's going to be awesome. Just want to remind you to keep watching us on iTunes and Apple TV. Of course, subscribe to us there if you have not. If you are an iTunes person like I am, an Apple TV owner or watcher, that's where I like to get my Travel with Rick at. Of course, you can get your Travel with Rick over at Facebook as well, facebook.com/Travel with Rick. Lots of cool stuff going on over there. And of course, right back here on travelwithrick.com next week, because we've got another cool video for you from Ireland. We're going to be at Dromolin Castle. That just sounds cool, right? Dromolin Castle. It's on a golf course. It has some cool things there. That's all I'm going to say. And we're going to be showing you some of those cool things and wildlife and species of things. So check it out right here next week on another episode of Travel with Rick. So long, everybody.